We will now call the Plan Commission meeting of January 27th, 2026 to order. Roll call, please.
Henna here.
Pouch here.
Kipchinsky here.
Lorik here.
Gavich here.
Guzikowski here.
Oldani here.
Seifert here.
Jambler here.
Item 3, approval of minutes from January 13th, 2026. I'll give everybody a moment to go over those. There's no errors, corrections, omissions, or discussion. Motion, please.
Seifert moves to approve the minutes of January 13th, 2026.
Oldani seconds.
Roll call, beginning with Christine.
Henna I.
Pouch aye.
Kipchinsky, aye.
Lorik, aye.
Gavich, aye.
Guzikowski, aye.
Oldani aye.
Seifert, aye.
Jambler abstains.
First item of the night, item 4 is a review of a request for a sign appeal for Swing Refinery, a proposed business to be located at 2320 West Ryan Road. This is submitted by Ben Prochnow of Innovative Signs. Nick?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So as you said, this is a sign appeal for a proposed business at 2320 West Ryan Road. It is the central suite adjacent to the recently closed Pick and Save, and there are 2 other existing businesses in the adjacent suites. So the appeal is to allow for a variance for a new wall sign that does not comply with the 2006 approved plan sign program, which you can see on the screen here, specifically section C, which states that all wall signs shall have red faces and black returns. So the proposal is for a 49.77 square foot sign with white faces and black returns and the business logo. It is compliant with all other portions of the plan sign program, and the appellant is citing loss of brand identity, legibility of logo, and a competitive disadvantage as grounds for the variance. Here you can see the sign location as well as renderings of what it will look like day and night. These are the variance criteria for your reference if needed. And otherwise, a motion for consideration is on the screen, and the appellant is here for questions.
Excellent. Does the applicant want to say anything before we go to the commission? You'll have to come up to the mic and we'll need your name and address, please.
Ben Prochnow, Innovative Signs. Nothing to specifically state, but there is a Domino's right next to the location that already is kind of has the white faces as well.
Thank you for pointing that out. Appreciate it. Okay. Christine, you want to start?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Steve?
No questions.
Ashley?
No questions.
Greg?
I think the applicant already answered the question, but do you have a visual of the front of the building? I'm just curious. I don't know that any sign has red backing lettering on that building already, and I don't remember seeing any variances ever come forward for this building.
The nail salon has red lettering,
Okay.
but again, the Domino's does not.
Okay.
And there are previous businesses that are now closed that also do not have red
Okay.
letters.
I never had an issue with it, so I don't have an issue with this one either. Thanks.
Chris?
I support it, yes.
Don?
No questions.
Fred?
No questions.
Chauncey?
No questions, thank you.
My questions have been answered. I'm good with it. Congratulations on a new business in Oak Creek.
Not mine, but thank you.
You know, no, always glad to see new business come in. So, if there's no further discussions or questions, motion on the sign appeal 4.
Seifert moves that the Planning Commission approves the sign appeal allowing the proposed wall sign on the property located at 2320 West Ryan Road.
Lorik seconds.
Roll call, beginning with Steve.
Pouch aye.
Kipchinsky, aye.
Lorik, aye.
Gavich, aye.
Guzikowski, aye.
Oldani aye.
Seifert, aye.
Jambler I. Henna I.
Okay. Item fine is also review to request a sign appeal for Buena Beef Restaurant and Rainbow Cone Ice Cream Shop. This is a proposed business at 8767 South Howell, submitted by Karen Dodge from Municipal Resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this is, again, another sign appeal at 8767 South Howell. It's on the west side of the street, just south of Putes. And the appellant is requesting a variance from Wall Sign Code, section 17.0604. So the request is for a variance to allow for 6 new wall signs, 4 of which are primary wall signs, 2 of which are secondary wall signs that are not accessory to the primary wall signs, and a reinterpretation of the linear frontage of the building from the east facing Howell to the north facing the business entrances. So this, you may recall, this is a site plan of the proposed business. Again, you can see where S4 is located facing east. That's the one sign facing east, and then the 3 facing to the north. So this is section 17.0604, and the sections that the appellant is requesting a variance from, specifically the highlighted sections, section A, which limits the number of primary wall signs to 1, section B, regarding the lineal frontage of the building in excess of 75 feet, section B3, limiting the secondary signs to a maximum of 50% of the primary signs, and section B4, making the secondary wall signs accessory to the building's primary wall signs. So beginning with sign 1, so this is the north elevation of the building that the appellant is requesting the reinterpretation of the lineal frontage. So the primary wall sign is S1 on the left side of the screen here, and the frontage of the building is over 75 feet. This wall sign is 28 square feet. Signs 2 through 4 are identical in design to sign 1. They are 6 square feet larger. The west elevation is facing the main parking area of the business, which does make it compliant with code. And then the east elevation is facing Howell. The south elevation is facing the drive-through of the business. Signs 5 and 6 are the secondary signs. However, both of them are over 50% of the primary sign in size, and are therefore too large for code. However, they are spaced sufficiently and comply with code in that way. And then once again, this is section 604. So they're requesting 4 primary signs, 2 of which are non-compliant. Reinterpretation of the lineal frontage from the east to the north. 2 secondary signs that are larger than 50% of the primary sign. This is the variance criteria again for sign appeals, and the motion for consideration is here.
Great. Thank you, Nick. Once again, I'll ask the applicant if they want to say anything or if they care to wait on questions. Going to wait on questions, if any arise. Thank you. Okay. Commissioner Chandler, you want to start us off?
Yes, I do have a question for the applicant.
Name and address, please.
Michael Shelley, Corporate Identification Solutions, with a sign company for Buena.
I may have missed it in the packet of information yet. Can you share details on why some of the signs are not compliant, whether that be with the size or with the selected locations?
It's mainly just brand standard. In terms of the rainbow cone sign on the north elevation, that we realized that we're asking for a larger sign. That's a brand standard at that size and we consider it kind of a dual brand restaurant. So that's why we're also asking for relief in terms of the Bona name and the rainbow cone name. Those are kind of their typical sign sizes. The tower sign 1, has to be a little smaller due to the size of the tower, but then the other 3 are their standard sizes.
Okay. And on a couple elevations, I want to make sure I'm understanding this as well. Are they not compliant on those particular sides, being the south and the east? They shouldn't be there per the standard?
Yes, that's
Okay.
correct. So code allows for the primary wall sign on the primary elevation, and then it also allows for the western elevation because we allow an additional sign facing the primary parking. So it's just the south and the east in this case.
Okay, so could you provide a little more information on the additional signs that are outside of the standard?
So there was quite a bit of discussion about that going into when we were applying. The thought was the building is situated so what we kind of consider the front elevation, the entrance elevation, the north elevation, is not facing Howell Street. So we actually, when I say a brand standard, there's actually more signage that is typically proposed. There's the stretch of on the north elevation, the 24-foot 6 area. They usually have a tagline reading Chicago's original Italian beef, but we've dropped that considering we're trying to comply with as much as we can, and we have that spaced in between there. The one elevation that was discussed quite a bit was that west elevation, the back elevation. It's desired. If it's not approved, it's not approved because it's the least visible of the east elevation we consider extremely important because it faces Howell. And then the drive-through is always very important to them. The drive-through elevation side, having the sign on the side.
Thank you.
I hope that answered.
That did.
Kind of rambled around there, but
Thank you.
Is that it?
That's it for me.
Okay, Fred, you're up.
Okay, I just have a question of the 6 signs. Do you really need all 6 signs? I think it's just a little overkill.
gotcha. Understood. That's the desire. The 6 signs. Again, I think at one point we had about 8 on there before we even submitted. We took away some. I guess I would say there was also discussion about sign S6. It's a non-illuminated sign. It goes with the rainbow cone portion of the restaurant. It's always viewed as kind of a fun sign for the kids to take pictures in front of and posts and that kind of thing. That's why it says life's too short for one flavor. That is one additional sign that we're asking for, but to your point, if there are too many, that would be the other one that they would concede on in terms of understanding if the thought is that there are too many signs just in the package itself.
Okay, thank you.
Don?
I don't really have a problem with that second rainbow sign. I get it. S4, I understand that. That's the one that faces Howell. S3 and 2, that's the ones I'm kind of thinking about if they're completely necessary. I don't have any specific questions for you. I'm just trying to kind of work this out. But I'm good with questions for now.
Chris?
I think I'm concerned about the number of signs as well, but I could live with what they have as well. So I would leave the rest of the council talk about it.
Craig?
I don't remember what slide it was, but one of them says that the requirements for single occupancy buildings, is this considered single occupancy? These aren't 2 separate businesses?
So
Okay.
because of the one kitchen, staff chose to interpret it as a single tenant.
Understood. I think there's a special situation here. Obviously, it might have one kitchen, but they're 2 separate businesses in my mind. So I understand the need. The parking lot, I know it's around back, but they have to walk to the north elevation to go into the building, correct?
Correct.
So I don't think that the sign on the parking lot side, by the time somebody gets there, they know where they are and they know where to get into the building. I don't think it's necessary, but also I think it's tucked away out of view, so it's not that big of an issue to me. But to remove signs, I think that would be one to go. I know the one on the drive-through was brought up. I just see that one is facing south on Howell, so that would give visibility to people driving north on Howell to see the building. So I'm fine with that one staying. The main entrance of the building, I'm fine with all those signs, and then the one facing Howell, I'd be fine with. So I would recommend removing the parking lot one, if any. I don't think it's necessary, but again, it's also
Parking lot north.
the west parking lot, so the west elevation. I don't think that sign's needed, but it's also tucked away where nobody sees it anyways. Can they enter that side of the building? I thought they have to go around to
No,
the elevation.
there is no, and that would be employee entrances and
That's
food
employee.
delivery, things like that.
Okay.
So without an entrance being there, I don't think it's needed. So I would recommend removing that. That's it.
Thanks, Greg. Ashley?
I have no questions.
Steve?
I would agree with removing the west sign. I don't really think that one's necessary.
So it's not a concern, more so than a question. The entrance of the business, especially for the drive-through, it's very close to the Buttes intersection. So there is a concern that, especially if you're backing up and you have a very popular business, people will be like going in, and it's going to be creating like people backing up on Howell. However, believe it or not, the signs will help because they will see, oh, here is the signs. Okay, let's go
That
in.
would be
and
my argument. Right, yeah.
honestly, I know it's different, but actually the signs help because they see where's the business right away. They don't have to stop and look and where everything is. So they will go in and see it, and
We are always up for limiting confusion too, in terms of entrances and that kind of thing, in terms of
And
just
it's just-
identifying sooner rather than later, and to your point.
and it's a safety concern because you don't want people to abruptly just stop and get it good. So, so I see where you're coming from, and it makes sense to me. So.
My 2 cents, a lot of it's been expressed already. Bueno Beef and the Rainbow Cone, again, two separate, one business, but 2 separate identities there. So I get having the Rainbow Cone. I don't have any heartburn over the life's too short. It's non-illuminated. Don't have a problem with that. As far as it goes, this is a different site. So obviously, north elevation is the front entrance. So you need signs there. South, it's been pointed out, you'll be heading north on Howell. You will see it at the drive-through. And then, of course, the east, we're not going to have an east elevation facing Howell. Blank wall. So makes sense. The west, I can take or leave, to tell you the truth. I don't much care. I think Greg made the point. I kind of thought it was a dual entrance, that you might have 2 entrances in. But if it's employees only, I don't think it's very necessary, but I can take it or leave it depending on what the commission feels. So that's really the discussion. So as far as the size goes, I'm okay with a little bit of overkill on the size. I understand they're corporately sized signs, it's branding. So, and you do have a monument sign as well. So it's really just somebody that wants to make a motion whether you want the west sign or you don't.
I'm just going to say a comment. The west side actually will be more visible from the Target side area and all those apartments.
Yeah, it would. If anything, it would probably annoy the apartments
I
more
don't
than anything.
know.
Booth Manor. It's Booth Manor.
Yeah.
So that is it. Somebody want to have a flavor for a motion? It would be Plan Commission approve the sign appeal as written to allow for as is with the elimination of the west sign. I guess that would be. Any other further discussion? Seeing none, call for a motion.
All right, Oldani moves that the Plan Commission approves the sign appeal for Bueno Beef Restaurant and Rainbow Cone Ice Cream Shop as proposed, as a proposed business to be located at 8767 South Howell Avenue per the submitted plans minus the west sign notated as S2 on the drawings.
Guzekowski will second.
Roll call beginning with Ashley.
Ripchinsky, aye.
Lorick, aye.
Davich, aye.
Guzekowski, aye.
Oldani, aye.
Seifert, aye.
Chandler, aye.
Hannah, aye.
Ouch, aye.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you very
Good
much.
luck. Item 6, site and agricultural review. These are plans for the construction of a new maintenance shop building at Pitt, Ohio, an existing business located at 700 East Rawson Avenue, submitted by Jim Mogg of Pitt Auto Express. There you go. You are up, Todd.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. And so you all may recall about a year ago that Pitt, Ohio had gotten approval from you guys for a architectural review where they made improvements to the main building there, the terminal building on site. So now they're back looking for approval for site plan architecture for construction of a new maintenance shop building. Give you a view of the oversight on the aerial here to remind you of what the site looks like. It's quite set back there from Rawson. You can see the large building here with the terminal with 2 office spaces, one on the east and one kind of almost center-ish to the north. And a large amount of just asphalt and parking so forth to the north. So they're looking to site and construct this maintenance shop to the north of that existing building, so tucked back behind. The maintenance shop would be just under 10,000 square feet and 27.5 feet tall. It would consist of 3 drive-through maintenance bays, office space, a storage area, break room, restrooms, and a mechanical/utility rooms as well. So to impose it onto that aerial that you saw before to give you a better idea of where it will actually be on the site, how it will fit. As you can see again, it would be really not visible from Rawson or any other public view. Architecturally, it will have a very traditional gabled roof. The material you use, you'll have masonry for about, on the lower level, lower of it, about 8 feet, rising about 8 feet, and then it'll be corrugated metal going up from there. The architectures they're showing here is very consistent with what the building that's there, which is mostly corrugated metal. It's a little under 70% corrugated metal for their exterior material. Our code does limit the amount of corrugated metal normally on non-residential to be at maximum 25% of the entire building. However, our code does say that with 3/4 majority vote approval from the Plan Commission that one can exceed that 25% threshold there for corrugated metal use. Staff has no issues with this material as it does match and is consistent with what's there. It would be kind of out of place to make it look different. And the fact that, this building is not visible from any public view right away. It's tucked to the north of this building and really won't be seen by anyone other than employees and drivers for Pitt, Ohio. The building will also have 14 wall-mounted light fixtures mounted evenly on all 4 sides and then above door entryways as well. The applicant is here if you have any questions. Otherwise, I have a suggested motion on the screen.
Todd, appreciate it. Applicant want to say anything before we go to commission? Need your name and address.
My name's Dave Clark. I'm the architect, 3700 Park 42 Drive, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45241. Just want to say that Jim Mogg and Jimmy, who are coming, they get their flights out of Pittsburgh got canceled because of the storm. So I'm here to speak on their behalf if there's any questions.
Sir. Christine, you want to start?
I have no questions. The building looks very good. Thank you.
Steve?
Have no questions either.
Ashley?
Just a general comment, something to keep in mind. I did see on the plan sheet there were the limits of disturbance were shown on there, but an actual area was not provided. So just something to keep in mind. If for some reason that area of disturbance would happen to exceed 1 acre, a general permit is required from DNR that would be submitted with the erosion control permit. So if you do find that that area of disturbance is less than 1 acre, that permit would not be required from DNR, and we would just be looking for that erosion control permit before construction would start.
I'll confirm that. I'm fairly sure we were under an acre, but I will confirm that with Jamie Fiala, the civil engineer from BL.
Great, thank you.
Greg?
I think my only concern was addressed in your presentation, tucked back behind the existing terminal and facing other industrial and businesses back there, so I don't have concerns with that. Thanks.
Chris?
I think it looks good.
Don?
I have no questions.
Brad?
No questions at this time.
Jossie?
No questions, thank you.
Okay. My comments as well, I do agree with staff. I mean, if it fits with corrugated metal to what's existing there, it's fine. It is tucked back off the road. I take it it's fully sprinkled.
Over 5,000 square feet commercial.
Okay. As far as stormwater goes, you have gutters going into laterals. How will
Downspouts to underground storm to tie into the existing.
get in touch with our stormwater? Other than that, I guess I'm okay. Are you got any, what am I trying to say, going underground for oil changes, stuff like that? Kind of like they do at the Insti type stuff, or is it strictly maintenance?
We don't have any pits or anything in the ground, and we don't do lifts. So they do oil changes, but they do it all through the reels and things. So it's like headlights, oil changes, smaller parts changes. There was a question about the tires, any tires that they have there are stored inside, and they're taken by truck off-site. They're not disposed of on-site.
Okay. And separate dumpsters, enclosures inside?
The dumpster enclosure is existing. I was on site and verified it today. So they'll use that existing dumpster from the BMG, the new BMG. Again, from the staff they have, there's 10 to 15 office workers, and the rest are drivers that come in the morning, get their stuff and go for the day and come back. So there just really isn't a lot of like daily office trash. Any of the parts and things like that, like engines and things like that, are shipped off site, same as the tires.
All right.
You'll see in our suggested, I'm sorry, with the motion, you'll see conditions as well that.
Oh, it isn't in there.
It talks to like that they're not allowed to have any outdoor storage or trash around the building.
Appreciate you
So-
pointing me out that I didn't read that.
So that will be, that is a condition there. We did think of that, and I did ask that question, and with that concern about
Excellent.
having the dumpster being so far away, and we've got to ensure that we're
Yeah,
not
we-
going to have
we
a collection
had
of garbage.
businesses where it's become an issue.
Mm-hmm. So that is a condition of approval.
Thank you, Todd.
Mhm.
Appreciate it. Any other discussion?
Actually, I just thought of one. So do you have any hazardous material that you have to, okay, so nothing at all?
Beyond like standard oil from trucks, oil grease reels.
Okay.
There's an oil grease or oil water separator as part of the underground sanitary system.
Okay.
That captures anything that goes into the trench drains and comes out, but nothing hazardous as far as just standard commercial trucks.
Okay, and how the oil's being disposed of?
Sorry?
The oil, how is it being disposed of?
It's captured in tanks and then it's pumped out, basically taken off site.
Okay,
Inside,
okay, all right, thank you.
nothing disposed of.
There's no further questions or discussion. Motion?
Mark moves to approve the site and architectural plans for the construction of a new maintenance shop building at Pitt, Ohio, an existing business located at 700 East Rawson Avenue with the following conditions. 1, that all relevant code requirements remain in effect. 2, that there shall be no outdoor storage on site. Trash materials and recycling shall not be piled, stored, or otherwise present outdoors anywhere on the site, except within the designated trash and recycling enclosures shown on the site plan. And 3, that this approval by Plan Commission shall expire within 12 months after the date of approval if a building permit has not been issued.
Vouch second.
Roll call, beginning with Greg.
Lorik, aye.
David Chai.
Guzekowski, aye. Oldani, aye.
Seifert, aye.
Chandler, aye.
Anna, I.
Vouch aye.
Chinsky, aye.
Okay, item 7 is consideration of a resolution to adopt an amendment to the City of Oak Creek's 2020 comprehensive land use category from single-family detached to single-family attached for the properties located at 2301 and 2321 West Putes. This is submitted by Anthony Rodriguez of Todd.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I'll actually be doing items 7 through 11 all kind of together since they all are related to the same
Okay.
development. So if you need to
He'll
read,
speak about them, but we'll take them all as separate motions.
and I'll have the motions at the end separately out. So,
Perfect.
but yeah, so commissioners familiar with Heyday in Oak Creek, which is near I-94 on Putes. So it's been very successful. And so now the applicants are here looking for approvals to move forward on Heyday Oak Creek Phase 2, which would be just a little bit west and north of the existing Phase 1. So this evening, we'll be looking for multiple actions here. We'll be looking for, they're seeking approval of a resolution to amend the comprehensive plan. They're looking for recommendations to Common Council for approval of official map amendment, rezoning, PUD amendment, and also a CSM. And so this proposed development, or Phase 2, you can see here on the screen and how it will be in relation to Phase 1, which again, if you remember, Phase 1 is 22 single-story buildings, a total of 130 units. Looking closer at Phase 2, this will include 13 buildings. 10 of those buildings are going to be essentially identical to those that you saw in Phase 1, the single-story homes, attached homes. This will also include 3 buildings that will be 2-story townhomes that will be along frontage of Putes. And that will be 15 units arranged in the 3 buildings. So for a total of 77 additional units when you to the already 130 that you have in Phase 1. They will have access by private streets. Each unit will have 4 parking spaces, 2 of those within a garage. And within the development, they're going to have various spaces, areas where there'll be guest parking, a total of 34 spaces throughout for that. And you can kind of see renderings of what these buildings are going to look like on the bottom, the single story, which is again identical essentially to what's in Heyday Phase 1, and then those that you'll see along Putes, the 2-story there. So the development for this Phase 2 is going to be on currently what is 3 separate lots and a portion of a 4th lot. That 4th lot, or the portion of that 4th lot, is going to be acquired via land swap with the city, in that where the city will be conveying to the applicant developer a little over 5.5 acres, that red portion here, for their development, and the city in return will be receiving the lot that's on the corner of Putes and 27th, which is over 10 acres. You can see the city is getting a little bit more land than the developer here. This is also in effect in lieu of a tree preservation, because they did not have enough space on site to make up for the trees that they'll be unfortunately needing to remove for this. So receiving that land in lieu of that for this. There will be a development agreement that will be required to outline that conveyance of the land, and that will be in the future. So item 7 for tonight is the comprehensive land use plan amendment. two of the parcels that are part of what will become the site development area for phase 2. They are currently designated as single family detached in our comp plan. Obviously, that would not allow for the single family attached use that this development is proposing. So they are asking for that approval of a resolution to change that land use or land use designation to single family attached for those two lots. And that's shown here that you can see, and it would be consistent with most of the surrounding parcels are already single family attached, and that was done too with phase 1. Item 8 is that they're asking for an official map amendment. The official map for the city does show road reservations in that area. You can see that what they currently look like. They're shown in red here on this exhibit. They're looking and proposing to remove all that is red there for future road reservation, as their development is showing private roads accessing and throughout the development, so there would be no need for these roads to ever be dedicated. They are asking for a rezoning. The lots that will be the site of phase 2, they are currently zoned RS2 single family residential, which would not allow for the density that is with the proposed phase 2. So they are looking to have it rezoned from RS2 to RD1, the 2-family residential, which is in line with the zoning that was back when a few years ago when phase 1 was came through, that was rezoned to RD1. So they're asking for the rezoning here to be consistent with that and allow for this development. Also, we noted that the lot that has phase 1 is currently split zone, where it has RD1 and still RS2. So for uniformity and just to have one, not to avoid split zoning, they're asking for the zoning on that parcel as well, that is RS2, to be changed to RD1. So it would be consistent, uniform for both phases. Phase 1 was a planned used unit development, and so to develop phase 2, they're looking to amend that PUD to allow for phase 2. One part of that would be to expand or so change the legal description of that PUD to what lands are covered or within that PUD. So that was an amendment, and the draft amended PUD was in your packet. But so modifying that legal so that both phase 1 and phase 2 are covered by the PUD or within the PUD, that they would be changing the use within that PUD because previously it limited to the number of buildings and units that were part of phase 1, so expanding that for the additional units and buildings to allow for those, to require the development agreement that I spoke of just a little bit ago relating to the land swap, and also just to do some update, for example, like the exhibits that are in that PUD to show phase 1 and phase 2 as part of the general development plan. That's part of that PUD shown there within. And then just to update some other references in that PUD, because sections of our codes have changed numbers of what section it is. References to street numbers have changed, or street names have changed. So just kind of some cleaning up in that area as well that was done for amendments to the PUD. And then finally, item 11 would be the certified survey map, which would be, in fact, to combine those parcels that will site the phase 2 into one single development site or parcel. And so here's a draft or proposed CSM showing lot 1. That would be where phase 2 will be, entirely within that lot 1, a little over 18.5 acres, and then the remaining portion, which would be about 6.5 acres, which would be the west or front end of 8830 South 27th Street. That is to remain as a city-owned undeveloped lot. It's just, again, just showing that as the CSM placed over the current aerial with the current parcel lines, to just kind of show how that CSM lines up, divides, and reconfigures the lots. So I have a couple of slides here with the suggested motions, and otherwise the applicant is here if you have any questions.
Applicant, you want to say a few words, or you want to wait on any type of questions? Go to the front table, just name and address.
Hi, my name is Ryan Swingruber, and I live at 987 Bosworth Field Road in Barrington, Illinois, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Chauncey, you want to start?
Sure. I do have a question for the applicant. So with the phase 2, how does it impact phase 1, or is there an impact?
In terms of impact, we've looked at them kind of separate, other than the fact that the leasing facility and the mail facility will still be centralized right off the public road south Apple Creek. But other than that, phase 2 will have its own maintenance facility to make sure attic stock, salt, things of that nature are stored appropriately and can service the additional units. But from an engineering standpoint, setbacks, density, we looked at it individually, although it will be collectively managed by phase 1.
Thank you.
Brad?
What's the schedule for the development that you have here? I see several phases, and how are they interrelated, and the time schedule that you have for this?
Yeah, I think the schedules were just showing the pieces and how they go together based on approvals. But our hope would be, if we were to be approved, we would like to start construction this summer. And we'd build it all at once. And then once again, it would be managed under phase 1. I think you're referencing the different colored parcels for the schedules. Yeah, that was just a little history on that. It was 2301 and 2325. The owners that lived there, unfortunately, passed away this past year, and the children reached out to us through a residential broker, and that's how, when we showed you that schedule, yeah, thank you, you can see what we own currently is in the green, and then and parcel number 2 in the green there, that was the first house, 2301, that we had purchased. And then the parcel 1 we have under contract. It's another single family home that unfortunately the occupant passed away this last year. And then this exhibit showing that parcel 4 is what we previously dedicated to the city, a part of a larger parcel. And we're swapping with, on the top left slide there, lot 4, which is a commercial designated parcel that's kind of at the gateway to the city. So in turn, we're giving more acreage back in the land swap, and what we think is congruent and consistent for whatever the city views as the best and highest use, whether that's an extension of parks, a nature preserve, or some other use. But it is a parcel at the gateway of the city. So this exhibit, sir, was just to show the different parcels in play and how they're getting combined for phase 2 and what's getting swapped. It's not a phasing schedule for construction or development.
You're not doing all the development at the same time?
Oh, we are.
Or you're doing all the...
Correct. Upon approval, these colors would go away, essentially be one color under our ownership, and then we would be developing all 77 units. So 62 of the single story that's already developed and occupied in phase 1, and then adding 15 two-story townhomes that are fronting Putes that are consistent with what's across the street in terms of density, size, and architecture.
Thank you.
Brad? Don?
I'm just curious, it doesn't look like with the wetlands, is there a phase 3 thought of? Is there other land that can even be developed there? trying to get a sense of what could be coming in the future.
No, we've provided, with the land swap, there wouldn't be a potential for phase 3. The city then would control everything to our west, other than the motel that's carved out, unfortunately. That road that's extending, my partner could speak to it, but it has something to do with it's a state highway and access. There can't be a curb cut.
Josh Walrick, 313 Surrey Lane in Lincolnshire, Illinois. Yeah, so on our site plan, you'll see that the private road that comes off the cul-de-sac dead ends at the city-owned property. The reason why is that lot that remains that we originally dedicated to the city with phase 1 doesn't. There's a prohibition on access from 27th over there, and so access to that parcel at this time would have to come through the private road network, and we would provide easement to allow for that to happen. But the idea would be that hopefully at some point in the future, there's a way to connect the parcels that the city would own and create something larger there. And the parcel that we are dedicating to the city as part of the land swap, that does have access rights on both Putes and 27th.
Yeah, the corner parcel.
Okay, that's all the questions I have at the moment.
Is that it? Chris?
My questions have been answered.
Oh, right.
So the initial question, I think, was just addressed. And I know we're not here for site plan, but this all kind of goes together and plays into it. I know when you put that road in that there was some issues, and rightfully so, it was brought up and there was a fence put in along that road.
South Apple Creek?
Yes.
Yep.
And now there's going to be a stormwater on the other side. What's the future thought about fencing that off, or kind of minimizing impact to the neighbors that are still there?
You're the neighbor to the east.
Both sides, but the neighbor to the east, I know, was very vocal when phase 1 went in, and you guys put in, I believe you put in a fence.
We did, correct. Yeah.
But now on the other side, there's going to be a stormwater pond.
I think on that we would work with the neighbor. We're in touch with them.
Okay.
I don't want to say regularly, but we met with the Koenigs right before this meeting, and we would work with them to alleviate any concerns that they had about that. Right now, the way it works is, it's bermed up to the top of the stormwater pond, and then it goes down. There is a 50-foot setback from their property line to the beginning of the stormwater pond. So there's existing vegetation there that we would attempt to maintain, but to the extent that it couldn't be maintained and they wanted a fence there, we would work with them to incorporate some sort of, either landscape buffer or fence.
Yeah, and to that point, the new entrance and access off Putes for the phase 2, the neighbor to the west, I apologize, I don't have the address in front of me. It goes 2325, I don't know what the next one would be, but she was at the public meeting that we recently had, and she expressed a similar concern and, referenced the fence that we put in at the main entrance, and we had committed to her as well that we'd work to install a similar vinyl fence and add landscaping.
I know we're not here for site plan, but it's all kind of going together. This isn't in the 2nd district, but the 2nd district is right across the street. So I obviously represent the 2nd district. I've heard nothing negative about the development, but again, it's not in my district.
Sure.
My district is just north of here. I have got very limited feedback. It does seem to be that the phase 1 building style and ultimately the zoning and the types of building that are being put in are highly desirable. I do have an elderly mother that actually looked at them and was interested at the time. It's my understanding that it's pretty booked up and it's filling as they're going in. So this is definitely a desirable mix of buildings. So with regard to the city's comprehensive plan and the rezoning, I don't necessarily have issue. I think there's going to be a lot of future discussion on the actual site plan itself when it comes to that point. But as far as the mix of the buildings and the zoning of it, I don't have concern at this time. But more questions may come to mind.
Yeah, and I would say we have precedent working with multiple neighbors, even to the south west, right? If we have a neighbor, we want to be good neighbors, we put in a couple fences, increase landscaping buffers. So it would be no different in this situation. We'd work with the adjacent neighbors to the east and the west of phase 2 to meet those concerns. And to your point, yeah, we're currently 99% occupied, and you know, there's only 6 unit types, so there's a wait list for our 3 bedrooms, which we're increasing, as you can see in the blue, and also with the townhomes to the north. So it's been incredibly successful in terms of the demand and the demographic that we had hoped that we did realize here, which was the dumbbell of people saving for a home, younger folks. We have, I think, 17 kids, and only 7 are school-age kids. So that gives you an idea. A lot of younger families on one half. I think 60% of the tenant demographic. The other 40 are people 50 years and older. So.
And I know somebody brought up a question about a phase 3, and it doesn't sound like that's something that's in discussion right now. But I am curious. Obviously, there's parcels adjacent to you that years from now people may look to move or may look to sell. And there's also a road that just ends right there. What was the thought process behind that?
Yeah, that road was once again to provide access to the city parcels, because currently with that motel, how it cuts it up, you can't get access off 27th. You can to the land swap, the 10 acres that we would be providing in the corner commercial, right? There is access to that right now. So unfortunately, since you can't provide access, it has to come from the other direction. So there would be an easement. And the reason the road goes that way, it's not for a phase 3, because with the land swap, if it's approved, the city will now control everything to the west other than the motel.
Yeah, and I think it's also, there was a slide up there that showed the wetland delineation on that remaining parcel, and there's wetlands pretty much
Oh, that's correct. Yeah. So the parcel south of the motel that the city retains, it's full of wetlands, and there are some wetlands to the north west parcel, but it would be prohibited for development. And given the swap, it's going to the city. So, I mean, our vision, or at least our hope would be it's some sort of addition of parks long term, right? Some sort of nature preserve, walking paths, things of that nature. That's how we always envisioned it. But in hindsight, going back to the first approvals, the northwest parcel seems to make a lot more sense for access and future use for the city than the way that it got dedicated previously, because it was hard to get back there. And so I think this makes more sense. It's more acreage. It's better access, and it's a better parcel, candidly. We had an offer from Humane Society and then a gas station on it.
And we went to contract with the Humane Society, and they had taken it, I think they had actually even presented to this body, and interest rates spiked while we were under contract, and it no longer became economically viable for them to develop it, but it was under contract.
Yeah, so at that time we didn't have an idea for phase 2 because we hadn't proved the first concept, and we were putting that under contract. But organically, some of the houses came to sell, and we were approached by the landowners' children that inherited the homes.
So you have the one parcel under contract, and then just to clarify, you keep saying everything to the west is going to be controlled by the city, but there are 2 homes.
Correct. Yeah. Sorry.
And you don't have active conversations with those.
So 2301 we own, 2325 we have under contract, that one right there, and then the next one over, that woman just approached us at the public meeting. I apologize, I don't recall her name. I have notes to get back to her, but she was interested in possibly selling the house, and we just didn't approach her because, like I said, all this kind of came up organically, and then that's why those public meetings are so valuable, because we can get feedback from the immediate neighbors, and we intend on sitting with her and having a discussion.
Okay, thanks.
Really quickly, just to follow up on a comment you made, when in this process does site plan discussions occur?
Yeah, I mean, so this will come back for site plan review in April, I believe. So it'll be back before the plan commission.
Okay, got it.
Mm-hmm.
Ashley?
And no questions.
All my questions have been answered. No questions.
Just to understand, you said there is plenty of wetland here, and I can see that from that exhibit. So are you going to just like compensate it with different area that is going to be dedicated to the city? Am I understanding this correctly?
So wherever the wetlands exist, we've designed around them not to impact them, and we have adequate setbacks that are I don't know if it's DNR setbacks or if it's specific to the city of Oak Creek setbacks, but we're honoring the required setbacks from those wetlands.
Okay, I was just gonna ask if you are impacting those wetlands, did the DNR approve them or not?
No, that's
Okay.
correct. We're not
Okay.
impacting them. And the other thing I'll note is in that corner right where the cursor is right now. No, the other corner. Yeah, that corner. That entire area is part of a secondary environmental corridor. And we've been in touch with Sewer Pack. And again, we are intentionally staying out of that entire area so as not to impact the secondary environmental corridor. And as part of the process, we're actually going to enhance it and plant additional trees and plant material in that corridor.
Yeah, in the public meeting, we talked to the neighbors as well. We intend to enhance the buffer between the neighbors and us just visually. But as my partner said, that's an environmental corridor. Although the drawing shows it kind of blank, there is natural vegetation in there that we'll look to improve working with Sewer Pack.
Okay, great, thank you.
A lot of questions been answered. Don't have a problem with comprehensive plan, anything going forward. Yeah, just to address it, there was a lot of talk about that little stub of a road that kind of dead ends at the city portion. They're actually doing us a favor. It may never come to fruition, but as they said, that land would most likely, given the wetlands and everything, be passive walking trails or something like that if the city ever decided to do anything with it. That's what I would see. As far and it does have connectivity to that corner lot as well. So if there was an access to the south as well as 27th or Putes, that remains to be seen. For the most part, the city just really is going to retain it and keep it in a natural state right now. I think the guys described the wetlands and the impact they're trying to do to them. And I think the point's been made about the demand for what went on with the first phase. So I do like that it has its own entrance off Putes. So I think you guys were very fortunate that way to have a secondary exit for emergency services. That's always nicely done. And if there's any impact, I mean, somebody asked about impact to phase one. It does give a secondary entrance in, as far as in case something were to happen. Other than that, you guys addressed the stormwater, the neighbors. Thank you for having a neighborhood meeting. Is there any other discussion, questions for the applicants?
I have a question. Is there any reason that stub just can't come out of there and don't even put it in?
The city's requesting it just in case.
Just in case?
We'd ever do a cul-de-sac there to give passive walking entrance to the parcels.
Yeah, and as they noted, like currently there is an access easement that just comes for distance off of that cul-de-sac, right, Apple Creek. But they're going to be revoking that and then recording an easement that will go the entire length, as you guys have been discussing, so that we can have access to that parcel. Otherwise, we don't.
Chances are we may never do it, but if we would, it would be on our expense of their private road. So they're kind enough to do it. We can work out an easement in the future if we decide to do anything with it.
Yeah, it just provides optionality, right? With the motel parcel, I mean, if that were to ever come into the city, having the access gives you guys gives the city more options, right? And so I think that's the smart thing to do today, not knowing what tomorrow's going to bring.
Okay, there's no further discussion. Motion will start with item 7.
Quick question. Do we have any questions from the audience?
No, we're not in a public hearing tonight. They had the neighborhood meeting. The public hearing will come at the
Public hearing will be on March 17th.
Okay. What's that? No, the public hearing will be at the Common Council. You look upside. You need to say something, sir? I'll tell you what, I'll allow you up. Let's try to get it out here. Name and address, please.
Adam King, 2315 West Vista Bella Drive. Can we go back to the very first slide? I know this doesn't concern site plans. I live on the west end of Vista Bella, and I already have enough problems getting out of that entrance in the morning and the afternoons, coming and going from daycare to pick up my daughter. So that site entrance, one more slide back. Oh, maybe it's the second one. I'm sorry. This one, where they have that entrance, that secondary entrance, that's directly across the street from the entrance on West Vista Bella.
Okay.
And that's already bad enough as it is. I called several weeks ago on the police because there was a site survey out there doing a road survey. I don't know if that was done by the township or if that was done by them or a third party. So I would love to know the results of the road survey and the cars that pass down. Like, what's the impact going to do with a new residential site there with that entrance there?
You know, I can't speak to that because I'm not a traffic engineer, but the roads are designed to handle traffic. They do a traffic study. I don't know if they're doing, Ashley, correct me if I'm wrong, dedicated turn lanes.
So we are requiring a traffic study with this project just based off of concerns from the phase one development that, you know, nothing did come of that. That seemed warranted at that intersection of Apple Creek and Putes, but I know we did require something with this phase two, so I'm not sure if that's been done yet.
Yeah, the TIA, the traffic impact assessment, has been done, and it's been provided to Christie and staff. And so the design will be based on the recommendations from that. My understanding is it's the entrance that comes off Putes right now, and the decel lanes that exist. The traffic impact study is recommending the exact same thing, so that way you're not prohibiting and slowing down traffic. There's a decel lane to pull off to the right if you pull into phase two, allowing cars to go by.
That's what I was looking for, decel lane.
Correct. Yeah, no, I know. I misspoke.
Designated turn lanes.
No, I said the same thing in the public meeting.
Okay. But the traffic study, again, whatever is recommended there, and I believe whatever our staff's going to recommend for that, so decel lanes or designated turns, applicant.
Would that be brought up on the next meeting? Like that study and the results and everything?
I would believe that would be in the site plan. Am I correct, Todd?
Yeah, I mean, that would come into play more so with the site plan.
This is more of a comment concern. I know that in this bottom, at the end of phase one, there's a gate there. The first time I came, the discussion was there had to be two entrances for emergency services.
And you're right, and in all honesty, that road probably should have linked up to, I believe that's 23rd Street or what have. If you really look at this, Gray's Lane does not attach to 23rd.
Mm-hmm.
And that was put in for emergency services
Only.
Only. It's not for general public use. In a perfect world, they would have connected those. I'm sure our plow truck drivers and everybody else that has to go down there isn't happy about it. But the neighbors have been that way forever, and harder to compromise.
And that's my concern for the other entrance, because I live on the other side. That's why I know that the people in this southwest corner of phase one weren't happy about a connection. I don't like the connection that's directly across the street from where I entrance and exit. So.
Well, correct, but that's more of a thoroughfare. So I mean, they're.
Agreed. I don't disagree with you. I just don't like it.
Yeah.
So that was just kind of wave past. So they're supposed to be two entrances and exits, not just for emergency services.
Typically, that's what we like. They
Okay.
can be limited. Don't hold me to this, but I think we changed it. It used to be by footage or number of residents called. But our code has since changed
Okay.
due to hydrants, technology, and equipment use. So I believe it's changing, but it used to be limited by that. But our protective services always try to ask for as many
In and outs.
as possible.
Understand.
If a tree falls down or lamppost.
Understand.
This effectively does have two, as it has on Putes, and then of course it does have an access off of the cul-de-sac from Apple Creek Drive, so
Correct.
which does then go out the Putes.
Correct.
So I mean,
If there's any impact, if you really want to look at it, there's actually now two entrances in phase one as well.
correct.
Kind of zigging, zagging.
Okay. My next question is, I also notice tons of animals every day in my backyard. And I know that's gonna push them farther west and on the 27th and on the Buttes. Like, is that even looked at? Are we concerned with that at all as a?
Well, I mean, no matter what we do, we'll probably mitigate out some wildlife, not all
Okay.
wildlife. But they do tend to adapt and adjust from what I've been told. I'm sure there's deer and things of that nature as well, but.
Don't worry, all the raccoons will come to my yard.
Please.
That way, every
Please.
raccoon in the city's in my backyard, so.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it seems the only animals that ever stick around are the ones you don't want, the undesirables, the skunks. But as far as that goes, there's enough natural woodland there. House whatever's
Left.
to be displayed.
Perfect. And this is just a general question for the board because I don't know. There's obviously not hundreds of people storming and complaining and yelling and screaming about this, but what does it take for a scenario where we come in and say, no, 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 and that actually happens?
But, it can, without a doubt, and usually it runs its process. Everybody has their land and they do their process to develop it. It usually starts contacting your alderman and then meeting with a neighborhood meeting, and in the end, the development or the project has to meet the city specs for stormwater and setback, accessibility, and the whole thing. Sometimes it just frankly doesn't work. We've had businesses come in. It's a really great looking business, but it's just too dense for the zoning. And not that we can't change zoning, but we don't like to do that. We have laid out a plan for the city, and we try to incorporate it.
So I guess the question of us, the people, being upset and concerned about it kind of gets displaced by the good of the whole.
At times and at times no. We've had businesses come in adjacent to residential, and they were on 27th Street, but there was residential in the back of them. And it just was a disruptive business to them. And even though it was zoned that way, we've seen fit to say no. In some cases, we have larger developments, and not a secret. Somebody comes in, wants to develop their land, and it gets rezoned, and it goes in, and we will have 100, 200 residents that are very upset. But the overall good to the city, not just economically, but other factors that go in with that land, that passive maintenance for us, are advantageous to the other, 38,998.
That was just for my edification because I don't know the process.
Each one's taken on its own merit, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
I know they think like everything kind of comes through here. Most of the stuff we say no to never even makes it to the stage. To tell you the truth, it's stopped.
Okay.
I shouldn't say stopped, but it's explained through different engineering processes, and cost effectiveness drives it as well.
Yeah.
And this was a challenging parcel as well, which resulted in a little bit of a land swap, which hopefully one day will open up land to the public, or maintain that woodlands for those woodland creatures you talk about.
Yeah, and I don't have any problems with the neighborhood. When I go out on walks, I walk through the neighborhood. It's very nice. And like you said, your mother went and looked at it. I'm sure it's great for people. I'm trying to convince my mother to move closer to us, and it'd be a great opportunity for her to have a place too. I understand that development happens and we have to grow. I just don't like that road across the street from me, that entrance. So how do I voice that again? Just come back the 17th or?
Yeah, you can come, is it the 17th? But did we put a date to that?
I believe it's going to be the 17th
Of April?
of March
Of
for
March.
the Common Council public hearings.
Oh, for the Common Council, yeah.
Yep. Site
Yeah,
plan
you
will be
definitely
after that.
can. And again, you can also, if you really want to get a better understanding of it prior to that traffic study, you can, email our engineering department, set up a time to come in and talk to them. I'm sure they'd be happy to explain.
How do I contact them?
They are on the website, so just go to our website and it'll say, want to contact, go to engineering. Probably you, ain't it?
Unlikely.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you so
Anyways,
much.
You're gonna wind up with the expert anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd be happy to talk to you at any time.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for your time. I
Thank you for
appreciate
your
it.
patience.
Yeah, and
Appreciate it.
separately, Ryan and I are happy to talk to you after the meeting. If you'd like to chat with us about anything, we're happy to talk to you. We can give you our emails and you can
Sure.
ask us any questions as well.
Perfect. Sorry, I didn't know who was talking. I was looking for.
Great.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Maybe these guys can hold a place for their mothers, maybe set to a side. We'd all be happy.
Okay, so let's see. We are looking for a motion. We're gonna take these one at a time. So the first one will be item 7, and that's to adopt an amendment to the Oak Creek 2020 comprehensive land plan from single-family detached to single-family attached for the properties listed. Brave souls
Guys
want to
ready?
make a motion? Yep.
Guzekowski makes a motion to approve the resolution to adopt the amendment to the City of Oak Creek 2020 Comprehensive Plan, land use category from single-family detached to single-family attached for the properties located at 2301 and 2321 West Peach Road.
Seifert seconds.
Roll call, beginning with myself. Bukevich, aye.
Guzekowski, aye.
Holdani, aye.
Seifert, aye.
Chandler, I.
And I.
Vouch aye.
Jinsky, aye.
Lorick, aye.
Okay, item 8, again, these all kind of congruent on one another, but we'll look at 8, which is consideration of a proposed amendment to the official map affecting properties as listed. Again, it was submitted by Anthony Rodriguez of Hayday. So somebody wants to do 8?
Holdani moves that the Plan Commission recommends Common Council approval for an amendment to the official map affecting the properties located at 2263, 2301, 2321, 2345, and 2411 West Putes Road, 8700, 8810, and 8830 South 27th Street, and 2320 West Grays Lane.
Guzekowski, a second.
Roll call, beginning with Chris.
Guzekowski, aye.
Holdani, aye.
Seifert, aye.
Chandler, I.
And I.
Vouch aye.
Jinsky, aye.
Bukevich, aye. We will now go to 9, which is a rezone of all portions of the properties so listed from RS2 single family to RD1 two-family residential
Lorick moves to recommend Common Council approval of a request to rezone all or portions of the properties located at 2119, 2263, 2301, and 2321 West Putes Road and 8830 South 27th Street from RS2 Single Family Residential to RD1 Two-Family Residential District.
Seifert seconds.
Roll call, beginning with Don.
Holdani, aye.
Seifert, aye.
Chandler, I.
And I.
Vouch aye.
Jinsky, aye.
Lorick, aye.
Bukevich, aye. And then item 10, this is the request to amend the existing plan unit development overlay, the PUD, conditions and restrictions for the Hayday development in Oak Creek, a single-family attached residential development on the property so listed on the agenda. Somebody want
Vouch moves that the Plan Commission recommends Common Council approval to amend an existing planned unit development overlay district, PDU, which with conditions and restrictions for Hayday Oak Creek single-family attached residential development on the properties located at 2119, 2263, 2301, and 2321 West Putes Road, and 8830 South 27th Street.
And a second.
roll call, beginning with Fred.
Seifert, aye.
Chandler, I.
And I.
Vouch aye.
Jinsky, aye.
Lorick, aye.
David, aye.
Holdani, aye.
Okay, item 11, it's the review of a certified survey map combining and reconfiguring the properties located at 2263, 2301, 2321 West Putes, and 8830 South 27th Street, submitted by Anthony Rodriguez. Heyday. Todd. Oh,
Went over this
was
one.
11 part of it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes,
there
it's
i-
the motion.
There is 11, okay. Let's do a motion on that one, we did cover it. You're exhausting
I'll
me.
go. Old Donnie moves that the Plan Commission recommends to the Common Council that the certified survey map combining and reconfiguring the properties located at 2263, 2301, and 2321 West Putes Road and 8830 South 27th Street be approved with the following conditions. One, that a development agreement between the City of Oak Creek and the applicant is executed outlining compensation consisting of land conveyances for modifying the city's tree preservation requirements and conveyance of ownership interest of the land between the applicant and the City of Oak Creek prior to issuing of any permits and prior to recording the certified survey map with the Milwaukee County Register of Deeds. Need a period in there. Two, that the existing 30-foot access easement from South Apple Creek Drive is vacated and a new 30-foot access easement over the proposed east-west private road from Apple Creek Drive to Lot 2, 8830 South 27th Street of the proposed CSM is recorded with the Milwaukee County Register of Deeds prior to issuing of any permits and prior to recording the certified survey map with the Milwaukee County Register of Deeds. 3, that new utility easements as applicable and where possible be added and recorded with the Milwaukee County Register of Deeds prior to recording of the CSM. 4, that all technical corrections, including but not limited to spelling errors, minor coordinate geometry corrections, and corrections required for compliance with the municipal code and Wisconsin statutes are made prior to recording.
Seifert seconds.
Roll call, beginning with Chauncey.
Chandler, I.
Hannah, I.
Ouch, aye.
Chinsky, aye.
Lorick, aye.
David, aye.
Guzekowski, aye.
Old Donnie, aye.
Seifert, aye.
Okay. Before we get to adjournment, just an announcement. You know the weather's been pretty unbearable lately with the cold. Please pay attention to city Facebook page as well as website for suggestions on staying out of the cold, frostbite, road conditions are ever changing. And again, be mindful of our crews. They are out there doing their best and they do a very good job for us, particularly in this inclement weather. It seems to happen at all times of the evening and usually on the weekends when it's most inconvenient. So please be careful and take care because the temperatures are going to stay with us for quite a while. If there's no further business, I'll ask for adjournment.
Seifert moves for adjournment at 7:16.
Guzekowski goes second.
Roll call, beginning with Christine.
Hannah, aye.
Ouch, aye.
Chinsky, aye.
Lorick, aye.
David, aye.
Guzekowski, aye.
Old Donnie, aye.
Seifert, aye.
Chandler, I.
All right, good night, everybody. Have a great week.